Okay. So I'm picking up the energy of someone who wants to come forward and have a conversation with you, but they're not sure if they're ready. By ready, I mean this person, they're very conscientious, this person, about the things that they do, the moves that they make, the choices that they make. They're intentional. This person is wondering if I think they're not thinking of it in terms of healing, but basically they're trying to figure out if they've healed enough to be with you. And so we're gonna pull some cards and find out. They're trying to decide. Okay, that's too many. We'll take the first ones that came out. They're trying to. Oh, okay. See, all right. This is the first card that came out and flipped over. This Empress card right here. So this tells me, again, it's not just them being insecure. They're looking at what they want to move towards and wondering if they're a match. So this is the Three of Swords. I almost called it the Three of Hearts. It's the Three of Swords upside down. Yeah, I feel like this person's had their heart broken a bunch of times. And then here's this Ten of Pentacles right here. So interesting. It's already starting out interesting. I have two different decks there that are mixed into one. So this person... Okay, so I'm not getting necessarily if you're in contact or not in contact with this person. You could have been in contact with them, like 2 weeks ago, and you're just not talking right now. I feel like they know the the word that came to my mind was the ambiance of you, which is weird because I don't really think that way, but they sort of know what's going on with you, and they sort of kind of know what they're approaching. I'm having a hard time. I feel like my voice. They know who they're approaching. I think that they know who they are too. So this is the Six of Pentacles upside down. We're going to take the Six of Wands upright. Okay, so I see this, even though this cards don't really mean that, I see this like back and forth energy. I see like this Empress card is a good card, but I think that for this this male energy, I think that the Empress is a scary card. Not in the normal sense of, oh my gosh, should I approach? I don't know, might get rejected, all that stuff. I think it's more of like, if they're worthy enough to approach the Empress, then they have to acknowledge what their caliber is, and then they have to act accordingly. And I think that's where the fear comes in. Again, this person is conscientious. They're aware. They know that if they go towards the Empress, that they're basically asserting themselves as the Emperor or something of the like, right? A match to the Empress. They're insinuating that they are a match by doing that. And then they're accepting that role. They understand this. The Empress might not even understand this. A lot of times with the Empress just is, right? She just is. She might just do. But when she does, she's acting on how she is. All right, so we have this Five of Cups energy here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I want 2 more cards right here. And then we have this Ace of Pentacles energy right here. 2 of Swords, Knight of Pentacles. So the stagnant energy, yes. Also, this person is patient because they don't want to put pressure on themselves over this decision, because they know then they're going to make, if they make a decision in haste, then they might make the wrong decision, and they don't want to make the wrong decision. And I think that they also sort of see themselves more as like the Knight of Pentacles, as opposed to, let's say, the Emperor. But I think this is also through a thought process of not being able to come towards the Empress as the Emperor. This to me is a choice. I'm just going to stick this right here. This person is kind of analytical. Like, they're trying to almost like bring, like, you know, statistics into love. I mean, they're not doing this on purpose. They're not like, they don't have to work to do this. This is like automatic for them. But truly looking at it like in a scientific way, this is cut and dry for them. This is like, well, should I approach or should I not? Am I ready or am I not? I kind of see this. And it's like, here we are again happy, here we are again sad. Like, and it's not about happy, sad, ready or not ready. It's more of like these little factors, these little things that are showing themselves either in you know, the 3D or in their head, or maybe even in the 5D, that is giving them some sort of extra piece of information that they're allowing to come in to make this decision of whether or not they should move forward. It's like, I'm listening to all signs. I'm listening to signs from above, and I'm listening to my gut, and I'm, you know, I was going to say watching you, which isn't really on the table. Felt like I dropped a card, but I think it was just my microphone. Hopefully I didn't hit my microphone. Still having trouble with my voice here. I don't see anything really. Yeah, this is too many cards. Although I see this other indecision card on the top of that pile that I just put back in the deck. Here we go. So we have the Knight of Pentacles, that was an extra card that came out, and now we have the Knight of Swords. So to me, these are two opposite energies. This card is confident and quick moving, and this card is slow moving and, like, basically, I think the word was consistent or persistent, maybe both. Persistent, but also stagnant energy. Responsible. See, this is the person that we're talking about. I think that wow. Yes. So I think, I won't say that they don't like being this way, but I think that they've decided that if they're going to continue to be this way, it's not going to help them out. And that they have to be more this way. I mean, technically this card came out first. Like, I put it at the end of the second row here. But technically this card came out first. And this was very basically what I was describing as this intentional person, right? Who, instead of running off and approaching you, has stopped to think about it, right? Especially with these kind of conflicting, this Three of Swords a lot of times to me is like they have healed or are healing. So not necessarily running towards you with a broken heart. But no, I think they've also kind of decided that if they're going to come to you, that they have to, wow, my brain just said be someone else. They have to be someone else. This is a conscious decision. See, the Three of Cups just came out, and usually I pick that up as a third-party situation. I mean, it's supposed to sometimes be like a friendly collaboration, like, or a friendship. But what really stood out to me was reunion. It was upside down, but it didn't seem like it was supposed to be upside down. And so I'm just kind of staring at it, trying to figure out what it's really screaming at me. I think that this person, Yeah, under this Three of Swords right here, this Three of Cups, which also came out in reverse, I think this person, there's more than one way to go. Like, they know there's, most people think that everything is a duality. It's not, it's at least a trilogy. And so, because we're in the third dimension, we don't really see three-dimensionally. It's like we kind of see two-dimensionally. It's this or that. This person knows that there's a third option. But I'm wondering if it's separate from, the first thing that came to my mind was, I'm wondering if they know that there's a third option from feeling like they have to be someone else. Let's take a look and see what's going on here. I'm sorry, the information is coming out so slow, but I think it's this guy right here. That energy doesn't communicate very quickly. Being someone else in that way is going to be so hard for this person. If this is what they choose to do, the word that stood out for that card right here, these flipped out. They flipped out together. So we're going to take them. So here we are now with this Nine of Swords energy and this Nine of Pentacles energy. But we'll figure out when we're done how many nines we have. Just kind of trying to figure out what this had. This person is a unique individual. Their energy is extremely, like I said, what I'm getting out of it is like conscientious. And sometimes, with people who are conscientious, yeah, these flipped over again. When you get to know them, you understand that things that when they do things, it's not just because. There's a real reason. I'm going to take one more card from this. That was the Queen of Pentacles and then the King of Swords in reverse under this. I think this person, what's this? Hold on. So this Two of Pentacles was upside down, and then there was the Star card next to this Knight of Pentacles. So you're their witch, and they see you for who you are. They healed. Whether or not they healed enough is kind of like going to have to be for you or for them to decide. I suspect, as in a general reading, that it's going to be a little bit different levels of healing for everyone. Not everybody heals at the same rate. I remember one time I started a relationship and I had been out of my relationship for like 3 months, and the other person had been out of their relationship for like 3 years. And I thought that they would be like more healed than me. And we were at the same level. We'd healed the same. So that person took 3 years to heal what I healed in 3 months. And so that's a lot of times why we say to spend time apart. And I was really getting at the beginning of this whole thing that this person was wondering if they had spent enough time apart. So again, it wasn't that they were thinking of it in a healing sense, but that's really what that's about. We can heal together, but not without bleeding on each other. Which people don't really consider the fact that it complicates the situation. If we're trying to heal, I'm just curious. This is the Knight of Swords. So I just cut the deck on the Knight of Wands, and then that Knight of Pentacles is on the table. So again, the Emperor would kind of be like, the match to the Empress would kind of be like, and now Temperance on the bottom of the deck. It would kind of be like all 4 queens. She's been all 4 queens, and that's really kind of what makes her the Empress is her, I was going to say knowledge of, but what I really mean is her experience of those roles and when she needs to step into them, right? So for someone who storybook wise would be her match, would be someone who has been all 4 kings, right? and then step forward. But the issue is sometimes with a confident empress, which most of them hopefully would be, at least if they're being approached, again, this would be a better situation than not being confident. The emperor, if she's strong and he's strong, if he comes on too strong, it's going to seem overpowering. And so some of these guys, even if they are an emperor, they know that they can't really present that way. They might want to, like if they see that the empress wants to be like, say, a princess, for lack of better words, and they want to be their prince or you know, their match. They might come in and say, hey, you know, we're going to get you a whole new wardrobe and and just, you know, kind of like sweep them, you know. But some women don't want to be swept. And so if a man picks that up off of a woman, he can't just go in, especially if he's done this before a bunch of times, and it's not going to work. So he can't just go in and do stuff. And so a lot of times too, when they've changed a little bit or something happens and they're like, oh my God, I made a mistake, I got to go back and figure it out. You know, am I ready? Can I do this? A lot of times they have to kind of look at it through those terms, like as far as how they're going to come in. They can't come in like Tarzan and pick this woman up and throw her over their shoulder and walk out the door. You know, some of these women have swords. I don't know that they're on the table. I think we had like the King of Swords upside down. Yeah. So, and again, I don't know that the Queen of Pentacles would really deal too much with that. Put my feet back on the ground, right? Like, so I think that ultimately, especially someone who's conscientious, does not mind coming in as a knight. There's something noble about coming in as a knight and saying, hey, you know, I can be your protector. Now, right now he's upside down, but that's because he's the king. Again, again with my throat. I think this person is also showing up as a knight because they're trying to assess if that empress if they're even worthy of that. And so we're looking at above the knight is the queen and then the king and then what would be considered the empress, right? So they are knocked down a few pegs when they don't necessarily need to be. Let's pull the third row and see. Okay. Well, there's that. So I am picking that up, wow, not as an event, but as a, that coming in as someone other than who you are is not going to fly. That Page of Pentacles, I'm picking that up as wanting to give under like balanced and equal circumstances. So I feel like when this person does want to come in, whether it's now or later, it will be correct. It will be matching to the situation. You know, people talk about coming correct a lot, but they don't really talk about what that is. In this case, it's not coming in like if we have history together, it's not coming in like, blah, 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 you know, hey, were you waiting for me? I think he's me over there again too. No, that's the swords. Yeah, but we found him, the Knight of Wands. He was around here somewhere. Unless I put him back in. That's why we kept saying the three knights. But yeah, you can't just run into the situation and act like, were you waiting for me? Especially in some cases, like I said, where people don't want to be swept off their feet. They want to be acknowledged, talked to. They want to be like, hey, I'm sorry, I was not waiting for you. I'm not ready to change my whole entire life right now. Or explain to me what changing my whole entire life is. You know, it can't just be about, hey, come with me, and then they jump on your horse, you know. So coming correct in this particular situation would be matching the circumstances. This one hit me in the chest. That's on top of the Six of Pentacles in reverse and this Nine of Pentacles. What is that? Yeah. Abundance, wealth, luxury, financially independent. Noble intentions, balanced. I think they figured out that if they come in as the Knight of Swords, it's not going to work. And if they come in as the Knight of Wands, it's not going to work. I think that's our 3 choices right there. And we are the Knight of Pentacles, so we're missing the Knight of Cups. I think that the Knight of Cups is implied. So, and it's funny because we have the Queen of Wands in reverse and the Nine of Cups in reverse. I'm just gonna kind of put them down here. Okay, I see why this person is stuck. So sometimes something like this would be, we still have a couple more cards to pull, yeah? Sometimes I think the person would be like confused. You would use the word confused because they're overthinking it, and then they're kind of like going around in circles, and you know, they don't know what to do. You know, it's usually when people start asking other people because they're not sure, because they've kind of gone around it a couple times and they didn't come up with anything that really like was the aha moment of how to solve, like, what, answer the question or do whatever. Yeah. We are really trying to figure out how to give to a situation effectively. We want this to succeed. We see this person. We understand their worth. And I think we had that like Queen of Wands upside down or something. Yeah. And so I was kind of trying to see if there was like somebody else in this mix. And for some reason, this Queen of Wands isn't, this upside down Queen of Wands is not bothering me that much. So I just want to see the relevance of that. That doesn't have to be another person. That can be the person that we're talking about right now who's trying to make a decision. I think we're going to stop there.